Hello, my name is Mrs Hall and I'm here to give you a little bit of information about the A-Level Fine Arts programme. We run the Edexcel Fine Arts course because it allows our students to have the creative freedom and opportunity to work towards their strengths. For this programme, students can work with drawing and painting, printmaking, three-dimensional design or photography. The two-year course is divided into two main components. Component 1 is worth 60% of the overall grade and it's called a personal investigation. This takes the majority of the time from the beginning of year 12 all the way through until the end of January of year 13. Component 2, the externally set assignment, is worth 40% of the overall grade and this takes place from February onwards in year 13. For Component 1, the personal investigation, there are three key elements to this. The supporting studies is traditionally the bookwork that's generated by students, developing their own ideas. The practical work is traditionally the large-scale outcomes that are generated from that, and there's also a written personal study in the form of an essay. We'll cover more information on the personal study a little bit later. For the Component 1, it can start at the beginning of Year 12 and we have an introductory foundation unit and that's divided into skills weeks and a mini assignments brief. That will take place up until December of Year 12. From January of Year 12 all the way through to January of Year 13, students will be producing the majority of the work for Component 1. The work produced in this period is personally generated by students and undergoes a number of phases of development. Component 2 is the externally set assignment. This is a small project whereby the title is given to students by the examination board and students can respond to that title by generating bookwork and some large-scale outcomes. This component does not include a personal study essay. The component itself runs from February of Year 13 through to the end of the year for art, which is normally about end of April, beginning of May. This component will end with a 15-hour timed element where students will need to work in sustained examination conditions, and this normally takes place over about 3 days. Just a little note on the personal study. The personal study is in effect an essay, so it's a piece of writing that's of continuous prose that's supported by imagery. It's worth 12% of the overall qualification, so it's important that students are supported during this period to perform as well as they possibly can. Students will get the additional literacy support to support them through this process, and students' work for this essay will need to connect to the themes of the actual practical work as well. The big question is, are you suited to this course? Are you suited to undertaking fine art to A-level standards? What we really recommend is that you have a grade 6 in your GCSE art course to demonstrate that you are able to flourish for the A-level programme. This is an ideal requirement. If you have not studied GCSE art, we would expect you to submit a portfolio to the head of art for them to consider whether the course would be appropriate for yourself. But in general, in addition to the grades of grade 6 or above in GCSE, we really need students who have a passion for the subject. It can be a little bit time consuming to create artwork, so you have to really have that love for the subject. You must also really enjoy the creative freedom to work within the fine art disciplines that I outlined in the first couple of slides. You may also need to support your studies at home, so it would be recommended that you have a few pieces of equipment to be able to undertake independent homework tasks. In terms of what students do post-desk, it's really interesting because we do have about 60% of the A-level art students each year progressing on to some form of course once they leave Dubai English Speaking College. Some students progress onto an arts foundation course, which is a diagnostic year for students to decide what discipline they would like to do for their degree programme. Students progress into fine art degrees. Architecture and interior design are very popular courses, and some students go straight onto those courses after leaving desk. Graphics, illustration, animation and games design are also popular choices amongst our current students. Fashion design and fashion marketing, plus makeup for film and theatre, set design and costume design are also avenues for students. If students would like to go towards more design-based careers, then courses such as product design, industrial design and biomedical engineering are popular routes for those students. Finally, we always celebrate the achievements of our A-level fine art and photography students, normally in the format of an end-of-year exhibition, and this is a great opportunity to see the hard work that has been undertaken over the last 2 years of the course. Thank you for listening to me. I do hope that you have found this useful, and we look forward to seeing you next year.